We are back in the booth, and I'm Shawn Booth, and thank you guys for tuning in wherever you're listening from. Maybe you are from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's north of Tennessee if you're looking at a map, or maybe you're from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and that would be south of Tennessee, I believe, FancyCat, or Yakima, Washington, all the way out on that west coast towards the north. We are here. We are live. We are in Nashville, Tennessee. We got Easton in the building. And to my left, we've got FancyCat. FancyCat, Bougie Cat. She's sitting here sipping on her gold Starbucks mug. It's like the same size as a Stanley. Very sparkly and, yeah, very fancy. Welcome, FancyCat.
Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure to be here with my plastic, very mundane Starbucks tumbler.
I bet that thing costs $40 at least.
No,
Yes,
God no.
yes,
It was like $15.
Easton, we're gonna put you to work right away. Can you pull up Starbucks website right now? And
Probably 25.
what ounce is that?
This is
20?
a 24 ounce.
Okay,
Probably $25.
I'm gonna say 40, 42.
I bought it, so I know how much it costs.
Okay, all right. So
Cool though. I'm so glad that you're gonna explain it to me. That's good.
The first one that is available is on Amazon. It's called a Starbucks Gold Studded Tumbler 2022 Fall Winter Holiday Bling Edition, 24 ounce. On Amazon is $69.99.
Wow,
Yeah, I didn't buy it there. I bought it at Starbucks, so
quadruple the price. Yeah.
that's a ripoff. Don't get that. You could go to the store and get them. They have them in silver and like they had green, pink. I just like gold, baby.
Yeah. Well, you look great. Your hair looks great today.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious. I like it.
Oh, thank you. It's actually 4 days old, and I was feeling the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, this is going to have to do for today. I couldn't bring myself to wash it.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
here
trying to
we
just
are.
go for the more natural vibe, you know?
I like the natural vibe. I've realized I like the curly hair too.
Yeah, here's the thing though, is that if I had curly hair, we'd be talking about something different, but I have some sort of like wavy, curly. The problem is that I have absolutely no idea what it's going to do. It could be the best hair day of my life, or I could look like I stuck my finger in an electric socket.
Well, it's kind of like your life. You have absolutely no clue what it's going to do or where it's going to go.
It's a pretty fun ride.
Yeah. What do you got in that cup?
Water.
All right. Here we go. We are off.
Am I on the stand?
You're on the
What's going
stand
on?
right now. Had a fun golf tournament. And
For what?
Folds of Honor with our buddy Chuck Wicks. And I don't know if you saw my story, but he was cheating out there on the course. And there's like a live scoreboard. And Chuck is not the best golfer. And so you can update your scores. And all of a sudden, Chuck Wicks' team is at like 20 under through 14. I'm like, Chuck, I know this isn't true. But it was for the Folds of Honor.
So he cheated at a charity golf.
He cheated at a charity golf tournament, correct.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good look.
Yeah, he didn't end up winning, which is good. But I've played in that tournament, I don't know how many years now, and it's impossible to win because I don't know if you've played in any golf tournaments, which you haven't.
I have not, no.
Yeah, a scramble. Do you even know what a scramble is?
I have worked golf tournaments, and I've worked those things because I used to be a bev cart girl.
Okay.
So I'm not completely unfamiliar. I've just never been an athlete.
Yeah. A scramble is, I've become a professional scramble golf player where you get a team of 3 people.
Okay.
This one is 4, so I was the quote-unquote celebrity who joined the team. So every team's got a celebrity, and I was with the Lucchese team, which are fancy boots.
Yeah, that's a nice team to be on.
Yeah.
Did you get me any boots?
I didn't even get boots. I would have.
Okay.
You know,
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I was hoping to get some, but I didn't get any. Lucchese, if you're listening, I'll just keep wearing my Tacovas until then.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Rival.
They said it wasn't a rival, though. I asked them, I go, are Tacovas like your rival? And they said no.
I mean, I feel like when you're a Lucchese, you don't have a rival.
Yeah.
You're a Lucchese.
They said Tacova has actually been good for them because it's brought more attention to the boot game.
Oh, absolutely. Anything, what is it? What's the saying? Iron sharpens iron?
Yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So anyways, the scramble, so the fun thing about it, and that's why the tournaments are always set up this way, you don't play your own ball the entire hole, which takes forever. So say me, you, Easton are on a team for a scramble, we would all drive the ball, and then we would take the best drive. And then we'd all hit that shot, take that best shot.
Makes it go a little quicker.
Quicker, you obviously score low. So it's just fun all the way around. But there's also with charity events and these type of tournaments, they always do like crazy, like it's obviously to raise money. So it's like, all right, if you pay, $500 on this hole, then you can start on like 5 feet from the hole. Or if you...
Wait, is that how Chuck cheated?
That's how mostly everybody there, it's like they always get like an insanely low number.
Because they're the richest.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
but I
it's
love
like,
that.
yeah.
Hey, use the weapons that you got, right?
Right. That's the part I don't like. I'm like, I wish we could just like do charity separate and do like just the golf separate.
Sure.
Because it's always Rex Ryan. Do you know Rex Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah. He wins every year. And
Well, he also wins in the tax bracket as well.
yeah, exactly. His
Good for him.
house is literally on Governor's Club. And if you've never been to Governor's Club in Tennessee,
I'm trying to get a job there, actually.
are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of downtime coming up, and I've been contemplating what I am going to do, and I just feel like I have to do something. Like I don't know. It's like, do I focus on something that will maybe help my career? Do I do something mindless just to kind of like make money and keep a routine? And if you have any advice, let me know. But Governor's Club is something that came up.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, obviously they need bartenders and servers and bev car girls.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good course. It's a nice little community.
But tell people who don't know what Governor's Club is.
I mean, it's probably the nicest houses in Tennessee. For
But like,
sure.
who lives in there?
There are, a lot of country singers. I think got a big old house there. I know a few other people. Do you know who lives there?
No, that's why I was asking you. Like,
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've only been there one time.
Yeah.
And I didn't like participate in anything. I didn't go into any of the facilities. I was genuinely asking you. Like, I don't know much about. I know what the Governor's Club is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just outrageous mansions that line the course. So like you're playing down the fourth hole and it's just like on both sides of the fairway are just outrageous houses. So, which I don't know if I'd like that. It depends where your house is located. Because, I mean, balls are going everywhere.
That's fair. But what do you care? You have that much money, you'll just replace it.
Yeah, of course you care, though. It doesn't matter. I mean, you got some little kids out there, too.
Yeah, that's fair. Safety.
Safety
Safety first.
But anyways, we lost. Scramble's the way to play. And shout out to...
Who was on your team? Like, did you know
Luke
any of the
Casey.
people? Just Luke
No.
Casey employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Wait, so you mean to tell me that Chuck was the celebrity for one team?
Yeah.
And he was leading them to cheating?
Yes.
Oh, good job,
Yeah.
Chuck. Proud of you.
So it's also like, guys from NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, which apparently I didn't know this. This might be tea. I'm going to get Chris Kirkpatrick on here. There's a little beef between the NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Like legit.
I mean, I feel like this started around like 97.
No, I know, but there's like a couple of guys who don't like each other.
I would imagine. I mean, how could you not think that? They were like direct competitors.
Yeah, but I mean...
It was you were either Team NSYNC or you were Team Backstreet Boy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, you were not a small teenage girl during this time like I was, but like, that's the least surprising thing I've heard all day. Of course they have beef.
I mean, no, not of course. It's... Yeah, I mean, even years later, too.
You don't have beef with someone that, not necessarily that you wake up and you like actively, act on it, but you don't think back to someone and you're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just funny to see it in like real life. Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the guy's name?
The Dirty Pop?
Yeah, what's his name?
I cannot remember his name. It's escaping me, but yes.
Is it Bruce or something? Perlman?
What? Can you look it up? Dirty Pop on Netflix?
I think it's Perlman.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. But I got to be honest with you, I've been watching a lot of TV lately, so I think my brain is rotting a little bit. But
Am I looking for the actors or what am I looking for?
the main guy, the guy that was in charge of like starting NSYNC and Backstreet Boy, and then he was caught in like a money laundering scandal.
Yeah, stealing their money.
Lou Pearlman?
Lou Pearlman. Okay,
Lou.
Lou. I wanted to call him Gus. I don't know why Gus and Lou, whatever. Backstreet Boys and NSYNC left him quite early on. Like a lot of the documentary kind of follows after those boy bands were created with like 98 Degrees and then a slew.
One Direction were they in there?
I don't think so. Like a slew of boy bands that I had never heard of, to be honest. But they apparently had very large international successful careers. So I don't know. You should watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
I am a sucker for those kind of things. I love to see the behind the scenes of anything, but it wasn't as dark as some other documentaries that we've
Right.
had pop out of the 90s. So, but it's just, I don't understand. Like anytime I watch a con artist or like a scheming that has to do with like
how they got away with
millions
it.
of dollars, I'm like, first of all, the balls on this guy.
Yeah.
I feel guilty if I like accidentally, I don't even know, like don't return my grocery cart. I can't imagine.
I know.
Millions, and you're just screwing people out of their money. Like you obviously, it's documentary style, you get to see and hear the people that are directly affected, so it makes it so much worse. But it's just like, how are people managing to pull that off?
But they apparently don't. They
Well,
do
that's
for a
true.
while.
Yeah, that's true. But like, when the highs are high,
They're high.
oh my God.
It's
Like the
this-
lifestyle that they're living, it's kind of like, okay, well, if you live fast, it's like you got more out of maybe 10 years than a lot of people get out of a lifetime.
I know.
So,
That's the same thing with like Bernie Madoff.
yes, that's insane as well.
Insane. And then
But all of these people
Epstein.
are also part of it. Like it's not just one person. It's one person who kind of starts the ball rolling. But think about all the people that have to either, be lied to or turn a blind eye to. And I don't know, money obviously does
I
weird
was going to
things
say,
to people.
it's
But
money and power. When you're at the top like that,
It's
money
just-
talks.
I can't believe that it still happens. I mean, I know that sounds dumb to say, but it's just
Yeah.
like, we got cameras everywhere, everything's traceable, all this stuff, and people are still trying to like rob banks.
I don't,
Like,
yeah. That's
what are we
probably
doing?
not as common anymore, but
Unless you're just an idiot.
unless you're just an idiot, which most of them are.
Yes.
So,
But that's what I'm saying is, okay, so I guess what I'm saying is the comparison is like, yeah, you're gonna try and rob a bank, you're an idiot. But people who like launder money and get away with it for decades, or whatever they're doing, illegal, they're not an idiot. They're actually exceptionally smart because they're 2 steps ahead of everyone else.
would you
at all
launder
times.
money? And if you had, say, you could get $50 million in the next couple of years and you could enjoy that for 20 years and then you get caught. So you get from
So
now
I
until
have
20 years,
Okay, so I'd be, I don't know, dude, 54? Like that's,
but you have right now 20 years to enjoy the, what I say?
$50 million.
$50 million.
I don't know. I think it
Could you
depends
live a
on the
pretty
day.
good life for the next 20 years
Yeah.
with 50
and then
million?
just be like, I'm out. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
I think especially because I don't have children. So I would just
Yeah.
choose to ultimately not have children and just live an insane life. Probably wouldn't even make it the 20 years if I had $50 million, let's be
Yeah.
honest. But yeah, I guess I'd consider it.
All right.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
that makes me a bad person, okay.
Because I think about that too with like some of these people get caught and they're like older guys. I'm like,
They did it.
they did it.
They already lived the fast life.
Yeah.
And they got to be the guy for years.
Years. It's weird. But then you talk about being the guy. It's like Jeffrey Epstein, who everybody apparently knew. That
Everyone.
Everybody knew what he was doing. But it was just all powerful people. So he had like
So much blackmail.
dirt on everybody. And so nobody would do anything. And people still don't do anything, I feel like. It's like,
No, not at all.
What
They're
happened
still
to
living in it.
Giselle, or
Yeah.
what's her name?
She's
Gazelle?
out. She's around. Yeah, she's chilling.
And like, whatever happened to that? She was his right-hand man, like setting everything up.
Yes. Arguably, I don't want to say like more powerful, but I feel like especially in an environment that is catering towards young girls, probably way more influential.
That, I mean,
You know what I
again,
mean? Like,
power. Because
yeah.
they talk about in the
That shit makes me
documentaries how all the politicians, both sides of the aisle, they were all like
Both
on
sides of the aisle internationally,
Yeah.
not even just America.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
prince or king, what
Prince
is
Charles or
Prince
King
Charles?
I don't. I mean, his name's been thrown around. I feel like in every time Epstein's name's been brought up, and I mean all of the American politicians and also just pop culture icons.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
anybody with money, money's bad. Money's a bad thing. And do you think money changes people?
Yes.
Okay, so I think money just brings out who you are.
Well, it's funny you say that because I saw a TikTok yesterday or today, Dan Brazilian, right? He's the guy who has all this money, flies around in jets, and lives this lavish lifestyle with 20 different girls all the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And he admitted he was talking about how he used to not have money and girls didn't want him. And that's what he wanted. And then and the crazy thing is he like inherited money from his family. Then he started playing poker. And if you just look at his Instagram, he's just known for literally the most outrageous videos. Like he'll be sitting in a room smoking, drinking, and there's like 20 naked chicks around him. But he had said that he wanted, or everybody treats him different when he had money and when you can get girls. So I do think it changes you. But to your point.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I guess, yes, sure, it changes a bit of you, but I just feel like when you have money, you often don't hear the word no. And if you are surrounded by yes men, it's a slippery slope. And I think that it's almost as if you're like just being unchaperoned. Like now you are the one calling the shots, and it's just like all of those like that decision power was inside you. Now you just have the freedom to do it. So I just feel like, because there's a lot of rich people out there who I'm sure are good people.
Great
Not
people.
Every rich person is a bad person. So it's like, no, I think those people were innately that, and now it's just highlighted because they have access to everything.
Yeah, because you look at probably the normal rich people, they probably lived a normal life, worked hard, and their
Enjoying
upbringing or whatever, they just never really changed.
Right.
And then you have people, who just take advantage of that power.
And but I think also like the money is one thing, but I feel like some people crave fame, or they crave attention. Like this guy that you're talking about craves the attention of a woman. Like I think it just depends on what is inside you.
Yeah.
It just spills out when you all of a sudden have unlimited access. So that guy was insecure about women not being into him, and now it's all his brand is.
Exactly.
So it's just like that was there the whole time.
And he, like that's a video.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I picture.
Like everywhere he goes. And I don't even know how these girls.
They're probably getting paid fat stacks. Yeah.
He just pays them to go travel with them and have fun.
I mean, listen, what if that's the secret to life and we just don't know? It's just paying for camaraderie. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they're having a bad time, I can tell you that.
No.
Well, especially the girls. They probably just made like 6 new best friends, and they made however many thousands of dollars.
Right.
He's probably buying them whatever purse they want.
Yeah.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah. And then going back home and
To their husband, and using that $100,000 they just made for their children.
Yeah. I remember there was actually a girl that I don't know if she slid into my DMs. This was years ago. And I was talking to her for a little bit, and then she like mentioned something about that, and I was like looking at her page, and she was like saying that she was like one of his girlfriends or something.
How many are there?
And I know, and I was like, oh, all right, well, this is
Cut it off right there?
yeah. I mean, it was
Was she still currently on the roster, or was this a
I think
past
she was
life?
still currently on the roster.
I feel
Like
like
she was
that's-
started to hint like she was in a relationship, but he doesn't want
to focus on her.
maybe to focus on her or to get married or to have kids or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of a little sticky situation here.
Came out unscathed. Proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, Sam Cat. Unscathed.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but I do think money changes people.
My uncle just turned 97.
Damn.
97.
My grandma's 90s, got to be 90, close to it.
My grandma just turned 89 yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
She's still going strong?
Yeah. She lives with my parents. She has like a mother-in-law suite. So it's nice that when I go home, I get to see her just like right there, watching the Game Show Network, drinking her coffee, hanging out with her dog.
You know what? And you think about 99 is so long, but then in the grand scheme of life, once get deep, that is so short. There was a long time before you were born, and there's going to be a long time after you die.
And it never stops. I have been down this rabbit hole since, I just turned 34. And obviously, aging is a privilege. I know that. That's like I love that. I found my first gray hair, and I was like kind of excited. I know that sounds weird, but I was just like, I don't know. You hear about these things your whole life, and now I'm finally doing it. But it's just, I go oscillate back and forth, exactly like you're saying. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm 34. I feel like I should know more. I should be doing more. I should have a family. I should be living on a farm. Like, I don't know. I should have been doing all these things. But then I think like, I'm only 34 in the same breath, in the same thought. And it's just a weird chapter to enter, because I feel like this is the first time, okay, your 20s, you think you're an adult. But like, if you're in your 20s and you're listening, you're fine. Everybody's confused. Everybody's figuring it out. Everybody's moving at a different pace. I feel like it's so scattered. Things kind of start to maybe even out a bit in your early 30s, but even still, your early 30s is the first chapter where I feel like people expect you to know what's going on. So there's still a grace period. And now I feel like I've entered my mid 30s and it's like, all right, you should, not that you should know what's going on because I feel like everybody doesn't know what's going on, but when I hate when I'm in a situation and I look around and I'm the adult. And that happens more and more each year. And I just feel like, I don't want to be the oldest one in the room, or I don't want to be the one that's in charge, but like,
because you used to remember that person and you used to think they're old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, I don't know. It's just it's a weird time in life. And I feel like millennials are really the first generation that has, I'm not saying they're the first generation to maybe delay getting married and having children. Maybe generations before us did it, but it wasn't as widely known.
Right.
We didn't have TikTok and Instagram and all these things that celebrate choosing to be childless or choosing to be single or choosing whatever you choose. So I feel like it's just a little more of like an open navigation, but it doesn't make it any less weird.
Right. Yeah, I think recently in the last year or so, I've gotten to the point where I can recognize I'm not that young anymore. Like where you said I'm still kind of like, you know, I feel like I got a lot of time left, but also at the same time, like you're still kind of going back and forth. I'm like, no, I know I'm on the, not the other side, but I don't.
Do you think you're midlife?
According to
No. I didn't say according to statistics. I said, do you think you're midlife?
No. I hope not. But if you want to go off the statistics, do you know what the average lifespan of a man is right now?
62 years old.
That would be really young.
Well, I thought you were going to give me a shocking statistic. That's why.
Well, it is shocking to me. 74.8. In 2022, the average life expectancy for men in the United States was 74.8, which is almost 6 years less than the average life expectancy for women, which is 80.2. All right. So 74.8 divided by 2 is 37.8. And I just turned 38. That's crazy. So I am statistically in a midlife crisis. So here we are. I decided to have a baby in a midlife crisis. Life expectancy in the U.S. has been declining in recent years. 2019, it was 78.8. 2020 was 77. 2021 was 73.2. And then it went up to 74.8. Wild. How is that number not up to, well, of course, I mean, there's so many. Yeah. But you would think as time goes on and technology evolves, but also people get greedy and put weird shit in your food and everything else in the universe to make money.
Yeah.
And medicine. It's like you don't even know what to believe. You know, like, is there a cure for cancer? Do we believe that? How is there not? Is it due to I mean, let's get our tinfoil hats on.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is that healthy patients aren't paying patients.
Oh, I know.
So, I don't know. I always keep that in the back of my mind. I try not to be a conspiracy theorist. It feels, I mean, I've talked about this before on here, just like trying to switch daily products that I use to non-toxic. And also just eating whole foods. Now I was just reading something that, you know, they have to list the ingredients on the back of whatever you're eating. And so they would hide things that are like bad for you under different, very confusing, almost like scientific names. And so then people caught on to that. They started educating the public like, hey, this word actually means oil. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like this means shards of glass. Like some of the stuff is so ridiculous that you're like, there's no way this is in my food. And so people started to catch on to that. So now they have changed said name, like whatever the chemical name is, to something different to confuse consumers again for us to start all over and to kind of figure out what the ingredients are.
Yeah, and then it's like also you got to look at other ingredients that are the very tiny little words at the bottom, not on the main nutrition label.
It's exhausting. Sometimes I feel so overwhelming though. Like I try not to go down a rabbit hole on that because I'm just like, there's only so much I can control. I don't want to be first of all, I don't want to be the person that almost causes more harm. Like the whole point of this is to do good, to like treat my body well, to live longer, like we're talking about. So I think if you go too far in one direction though, then it's almost like counterproductive.
Right.
Now I'm so stressed about ingredients and natural, clean, non-toxic that like I'm mentally deteriorating myself. And then not only that, but then the people around you, you know that person, the person who's like a strict vegan or a person who's a strict something, and like it has to be the only thing that's about that. Like it becomes their whole persona.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that girl.
No.
I just want to like live with my chickens on a farm and like dance out and smoke
sometimes
joints and
that's
listen to
the best way. Look at your grandmother. Well, she wasn't a vegan.
No.
All right.
God, no.
She wasn't staying away from having a good time.
I do love when they interview people like in nursing homes or have made it say past 100.
And they're like,
what's the secret to life? They're always
Yeah.
precious.
And they're like, what do you regret? Those are always sad.
I always feel like they say nothing. No? They're like, I have no regrets. Isn't that the cliche answer?
Yeah, everybody has regrets.
What's your biggest regret, Shawn?
Ooh, my biggest regret. Wow. That's deep.
Well, you brought it up. Everybody has regret. Open and honest in the booth with Shawn Booth. What is your biggest regret?
Regret. Damn. I don't know. That's a good one.
I feel like every regret that I've had has ultimately
That's what I
worked
mean.
out. So it's just, I know that sounds cheesy, but I think that's just how life works, is that one thing doesn't go away that you predicted, or maybe you did something that you regret. And it's like, yeah, but if that wouldn't happen, then this wouldn't have
Exactly.
happened.
Like,
And it's like
that's
we've
what I
already
was-
moved past it and great things have come from it. So it's kind of hard to
Right.
pick a regret like that.
I know.
Unless you've done something.
No, like anything that's been like dumb or stupid, it's like, oh, that's just life.
Yeah.
Everybody screws up. It's not like I think about that every day. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I didn't do that.
Do you ever find yourself thinking like, how could I have thought that way?
Yeah, for some stuff, I guess. I mean, like I was trying to think of regret. Like obviously I love being a father so much. And I'm like, after talking about the life expectancy of a man and me being midway there and being 38 and now just having a kid, I'm like, do I regret not having kids earlier? And I'm like, no, I don't, because then I wouldn't have locks.
Right.
And then also, I don't know if I'd be as good of a father. I think I would, but I don't know if I would maybe appreciate it as much as I do now, as maybe somebody who's younger and, young 20s, and they get married, have a baby, and it's just kind of like, just happens, where I'm like, I was in a spot, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have kids. I always wanted to, but so that's when, you say there's always kind of a solution to your regret. If you call it a regret.
Yeah, I definitely, like actually almost verbatim, had this conversation last night over dinner about being older, quote unquote older, before finding a husband or before finding children. I think that, oh my God, can you hear my stomach right now?
No.
Oh my God, it's growling so bad. Sorry. Okay. I think that since I have waited so long, or maybe not on my own terms, but
Yeah.
I will appreciate if it ever does come true. And if it ever does happen, I will appreciate it so much more and so differently than I
Yeah.
would have had it worked out when I was 24, 25,
Exactly.
27, 28, 30, 31. I think that I have a different perspective on relationships. I am a different person. I've had all this time to pretty much do exactly what I want, live selfishly. So I feel like I will never, if it ever does work out for me, I will never feel like, man, I wish I would have been able to do that before kids.
Yeah.
Which I think is common. I think it's like, okay, but then, once the kids are out of the house, then we'll do this type of thing. And I've just really been able to check a lot of boxes that maybe people who had families earlier haven't been able to. Now, granted, they've been able to check all of these boxes that I haven't been. So it is like a work of balance. But
Yeah.
I think my mindset is so different. And also just like emotional maturity.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And just like, sometimes I think back to some things, I'm like, oh God, it makes me cringe.
Yeah, of course.
But it's
It's
also
like-
just like, I can't blame myself because I didn't know any better.
Right.
But it is weird to think like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the meme that's just like, there is no one on the planet I have less in common with than whoever was making my 2008 Facebook statuses.
Yeah.
And I feel that in my core.
I know.
Yes, of course, some things are the same.
Yeah.
I've always been, you know,
Yeah.
the idea of what I am now.
Right.
But like the inner workings are much, much, much
Isn't it
different.
so weird though?
and
You're like,
much,
who
much
was
better.
that person? Like,
Yeah.
what was that person thinking? Because you were full on. You thought that that was the
What?
right thing at the moment.
The actual fuck, Samantha.
So there is like, obviously, you know, it's like pick your poison. If you get married and have a family at a younger age, then you have the argument that you are able to enjoy your later years of life.
Sure.
Right. But then there's the argument. It's like, well, you can also enjoy your earlier years of being selfish.
Right.
Which is what the position I'm in. I don't look at my life and being like, I wish I'd done that. It's like, no, I've done so much.
Yeah.
I'm like content with that and having a kid now where I'm able to be less selfish, and it's a completely different mindset. Where I think if I had a kid at 24, I am a person who has always been, I want more success. More this, more that, more. But now it's just like, no, I want more for my son.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the more. And how can I do that for him?
Yeah. It's still motivation. It's just for someone else.
Yeah. Which is a crazy, weird feeling.
So how are you going, I mean, I don't mean this to sound like, how are you going to explain yourself? But how are you going to explain your life and
I know.
and
I hear your stomach
oh
now.
my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Your stomach's trying to explain it for you.
Yeah, but how are you going to explain like reality TV and what that was? I mean, I think eventually, obviously, he'll grow into be an adult and get it, but
I know that one's
what is
tricky.
going to happen as a child?
I know, because I just like think about when is he gonna realize that his dad lived this crazy life, and he's gonna have access to a million different articles and a lot that
Right.
aren't true and gossip sites, and it's like at his fingertips. And you can just Google his dad's name and be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's weird. That's a weird feeling to sit with, because I'm also, you know, when you say, do you regret anything? You know, I look at the bigger decisions in my life that I made. You know, I've gone back and forth with being on that show. I don't regret that. Do I regret proposing at the end of it? In the moment, I didn't regret it.
Yeah.
And that led me into a direction where I'm at now. So it's like, yeah, for a while I thought I regretted it. Like, I knew I probably shouldn't have proposed in the moment. Went ahead and did it anyways, but a lot of good stuff came from that. So I probably would have had a completely different life if I didn't. Like, there are parts of that show where I thought about leaving, like
Right.
whether there was 3 guys left, 4 or 5, like that really think about like packing up my bags and just going home, which then what would have happened with my life? Would I have just gone back to working for the insurance company? Well, I wouldn't, because they fired me when I went on the show. But, you know, I'd go
But
back
that
to work at a
lifestyle.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
Or and it's just because I ended up, you know, with Caitlin that, you know, I had all these other opportunities come.
Right.
And then would I have opened the gym and like so many different things. And then I wouldn't have met Dre there and wouldn't have Locks. And it's just, I don't know. The regret thing, I don't think I'll ever regret anything unless it's like something really bad that you could have had control over.
Yes.
Right.
And there's not,
But there's
a
learning
lot.
opportunities for everything.
yeah.
And that's
Character
how you
development.
grow. You regret things. You're like, oh shit, I got to do that differently next time. But I don't know. Long answer short, the reality thing is going to be tough for Locks. But I'm going to be open and honest about it with him. I want to be able to talk with him more and communicate with him as much as possible about his feelings.
Will you approach the subject, or will you wait for him to come to you?
No, I'll approach it. I'll probably get ahead of that one.
Like before he goes to school?
I mean, but also I'm like, when he goes to school and when do we think this will come about? Like 10 years from now when he's 10?
I have no idea how it will present itself, but I just feel like it will not even be from kids organically, it will be a kid's mom
Exactly.
that says something. And
That's
they're like, my mom said that your dad, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And Lox is going to be like,
What?
what?
Yeah, exactly.
You should be like, I promise my dad's not cool. Like, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
any other.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know. That's how I think it will happen too.
My mom said that she met your dad better. Like,
Yeah.
that is a weird.
Yeah. And it's just like how like Santa Claus is found out between kids. My mom said that Santa
Yes,
Claus wasn't
yeah.
weird or real. Then they come home and like, shit. And in this instance, he's going to be like, hey, my mom said that your dad was running butt naked down the fairway on live TV or got really drunk on live TV. Or, you
And
know,
Lex is going to be like,
yeah. Or was,
sounds like him, but I'm not
you know,
sure.
Yeah. Or it's like, you know, he was in a spot in the airport with this girl. Like,
Yeah.
weird stuff.
But then again, I feel like, will they even know that much? I feel like it will be very vague. So then Lox will be like, my dad, what?
Yeah, I'm just hoping like by the time that like 10 years, like hopefully all that Google history is just deleted, right? That's how that works.
Yeah, I think it's
There's
just
so many
every
more
decade
things.
they delete all of the history. You're
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
so we're good. I don't know. How would you feel about that?
About what?
Like if you were in my situation.
I mean, I feel like the same exact thing that you said. I'd be super honest and answer any questions they had. I feel like I would get out ahead of it and let them know. To an extent, though, because I feel like why rock the boat if it's not rocking type of thing. So like if in 10 years from now, maybe it won't be relevant conversation or maybe nobody will realize that. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I feel like the pace that social media is going and has continued, like that's just a naive thing to think. I think if anything, everything will be even more accessible somehow in 10 years.
I know. That's what I try and figure out too. Like my social media now, I love posting family things and videos and pictures of Lox. And a large reason why I do that is so he can look back one day
Yeah.
and be like, that's cool.
It's like a baby book.
It's
but
like
for
a baby
millions
book.
of people.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, the other night was so special walking out on the soccer field for Nashville MLS team with him was so cool. He's never going to remember it, but he's going to have really cool photos and videos.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. So things like that I want to save, and I wonder if he's going to be able to scroll back in 10, 12 years from now. He could be listening to this podcast episode 10 years from now. He might be listening right now. What's up, Lox? Go and clean your room. Like,
That's terrifying to think about.
how long are the podcasts going to be around? Is there going to be Spotify? Is there going to be
Yeah.
all that stuff?
There's got to be a variation of it, but I think that things will change just like they have over the last 10 years. But then again, I can't go down that wormhole because we've already questioned our existence and how long we're going to live. Now we got to question what's going to happen within those years.
But it's so weird,
Too
right?
much
Because
today.
think about your parents. I can think of maybe like 2 or 3 photos that I've seen of my dad and my mom together when they were younger. That's it. No videos, no podcasts, no YouTube videos,
Right.
no articles, nothing. No social media. They didn't have that. So we're kind of like the first generation to
Yeah.
have to deal with that with our kids.
Yeah. I can't wait till the first generation of grandmas are just out there like rapping Ludacris. It's just like, what's up?
Yeah.
I love that idea. We've never experienced that.
Yeah. So you don't have any regrets either then?
No, my biggest regret until, again, the same thing, like everything worked out. So,
Yeah.
like, why would I question it? But my biggest regret was not moving to Nashville sooner.
You don't feel you moved it, but again, if you moved sooner,
Exactly. I know. So it did all work out. Obviously, I achieved, or I'm still achieving. I'm in the middle of doing things that I only dreamed about like 10 years ago. But I think my regret ties to the fact that I was waiting for a boy.
yeah.
I was waiting for him.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to be ready. I was waiting. I just felt like I was there before I came to Nashville out of college, I spent 5 years before I moved here. And I would have liked it to have been like 3. Now, in the grand scheme of life, did those 2 years really make or break me? No.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I made it work. But I do look back on that, and I think that's why I'm so sensitive when it comes to dating now, of feeling like someone's wasting my time.
Right.
I'm like
Which is
hyper
valid.
sensitive to that. I'm like, hey,
Let me know.
Just let me know.
This isn't gonna
I'm
work.
a big girl.
Yeah.
And like, we got it. I got it. And I think that also comes with like the emotional maturity of it.
Right.
I understand that I'm not everybody's like cup of tea, but I feel like if you're wasting my time, I'm wasting your time. What are we accomplishing? We're only doing a disservice. Now, don't swing too far in another direction, Sammy. How about you calm down and give them a chance, feel it out. Don't be so like almost anxious about it,
Yeah.
where I kind of get ahead of myself. So I feel like that's the only regret that I can come up with.
Right.
But even still, I don't really regret it.
Yeah.
That's so cliche.
Yeah.
But I think that similarly to how I was saying that if I were to ever find a husband, my appreciation would be different. I think that since I feel like I hit my stride professionally, I wouldn't even say later, because I don't think that people hit their stride professionally in their 20s very often. But I just feel like I found an industry that really accepts me for who I am, and I feel like I can thrive in a lot of different departments within it. And that was not my first stop out of college trying to find jobs.
Right.
Like I felt like other people, even if they didn't get a job in their major, which nobody really does that, I just felt like everyone around me was really making strides in work and like enjoying what they were doing or getting promotions, making way more money than me. And I felt behind in that, where now I feel like, but if I wasn't ready, maybe I wouldn't have been at the right place at the right time, met the right people, said the right thing, proved myself the way I did, because I wouldn't have been ready to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known any better. I would have been like too bubbly and looking for the party, not realizing that like someone has to plan said party. You want to be that girl? You want to be the girl that goes home?
Yeah. I know.
I don't know. It's
That goes-
weird.
Yeah.
It's like the butterfly effect. You ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I do. There's part of me that regrets drinking so much.
Yeah?
Yeah. But then also I'm like, man, I had some really good times. But
Yeah.
also, and it's always something I struggled with because I've always been kind of health conscious and like very much, into my physical abilities and playing sports. So even though I'd party my ass off, I'd always like think in my head that I was working so hard that it would kind of, but also me and my buddies talk about it now. We're like, man, imagine if we didn't drink as much or smoke as much when we were in college and partied as much. Like we just played soccer, worked out, and partied.
Well, you didn't know any better.
You didn't, but looking back, you're like, you had that short time of your life to be at like your peak physical ability.
Yes.
Like imagine if you actually like dialed in your nutrition.
I would love to go back and be a junior Olympic gymnast with a 34-year-old brain.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
about
the thing.
everything, like about food, nutrition. I mean, just everything I thought about calorie intake and all this shit makes me nauseous now. Do I think that it was a collaborative effort between coaches and society and everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, but like, can you imagine if you went back and you were a college athlete, but with the brain you have now?
Oh, I know.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
even for just like a week.
Even things as far as like handling pressure.
Yes.
Like I remember like in high school sports or college, it's like you would get nervous or you would think that if you fucked up here, it was the end of the world. It's like, no, it's like the amount of pressure that I'd be able to handle now and not let it
Way
get to me
Yeah.
is so much more different.
And pressure, and also like, I mean, I know, again, it sounds cliche, but just like knowing yourself, like knowing what makes me feel better, what makes me feel worse, what makes me feel faster, quicker, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I know those things so much better now than when I was in college.
Yeah, of course.
That's so infuriating. I know they say that, like, what is it?
Yeah,
it's
because you're
wasted
so
on the youth.
young. Your brain is so underdeveloped. So yeah, I think drinking, because that was like every weekend,
Sure.
20s,
Sure.
every weekend, moving to Nashville, every weekend we're partying. And that's, I'm like, hey, damn, how much damage did I do to my body in that? And like, again, I've always been very conscious of it. And I've always felt like I was better than most of my friends and was able to turn it off and then, dial it in during the week. But I don't know. I'm like, I've been sober now for almost 2 years. And that's one thing I don't regret. I got it out of my quote unquote system, but that would lean more towards regret, is spending that much time drinking even when I'm traveling, going to places and going to cool spots and maybe not taking it all in as much.
Yeah.
But then,
Kinda
I'm like, you know, you have great times.
Yes, it makes for a good story.
For good
brunch.
memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you remember.
Right.
But
I get that.
yeah.
Introspective today.
Very introspective.
What are you doing for Labor Day?
Just being a dad. Dre's out of town this weekend. She's on a bachelorette party. And her mom's in town helping out. She's been here for a week or two, which is great. So just really watching locks. It's like crunch time for the new gym right now. So we got a million things going on there. And a couple celebrations, parties this weekend. Yeah, a little bit of everything. What about you?
I got a little bit of work and a lot of relaxation.
Yeah.
I've kind of hinted towards now that we're making it through August, I am going to slow down a lot off the road, which I'm very excited for, but I'm also weirdly anxious about. Like I said, I'm trying to find a job or something to do in my free time, but just got one show, quick, one day, and then I'm going to start because also I am a basic white girl. I know you make fun of me all the time, but I don't care because
You're
I
white?
love being basic. Emphasis on the basic. I'm trying to be Tanner. No, I'm just kidding. And September means it's Gilmore Girls season. So I'm going to start that from episode 1, season 1. I love watching it in the fall. Crisp air and nice pumpkin candles and baking and leaves. And I just love it. I'm ready. It's going to probably be 99 degrees. So I'm going to just turn my AC down and keep the window shut.
Yeah.
Pretend.
Yeah. It's supposed to be over 100 today. Do you ever think about just doing your own work?
What do you mean?
Being an entrepreneur? Making your own business?
What would I do?
You tell me.
Exactly. No, I don't.
There's nothing you see, like my brain's always like, ooh, there's nothing you see when you're on the road or during your job where you're like, I could maybe do that or do this. There's nothing you'd want to start. If somebody gave you, said, hey, SamCat, I got $1 million for you to start your own business right now.
No.
Nothing.
Not right now. Ask me in 6 years.
Why? 6
Because
years?
I have a 5-year plan.
Oh, get out of here, the 5-year plan.
I have a 5-year outline of what I would like, the direction I would like to go, things that I would like to achieve.
$1 million isn't available for you in 5 years. I got $1 million right now. What do you want to start? There's nothing.
I want to build a home with chickens and a garden and be a homemaker.
But then you're not going to be making any money.
You asked me what I wanted to do with the $1 million to be an entrepreneur. A homemaker's an entrepreneur. Your home is your business. I'd like to invest in that.
You're not bringing in income.
How many stay-at-home moms are bringing in income from their homes right now?
Well, they have.
Millions.
There's a big piece of that you're missing.
You asked me. We're living in La La Land right now. I'm meeting you halfway.
So you're saying
I don't. What I'm
take
saying
the $1 million.
There is nothing I would like to invest $1 million in for my own business. I have nothing. I have no interest in being an entrepreneur. I have no.
Well, you're just saying that you had anxiety, like figuring out what you want to do and get it. Like
no. I really love a routine.
Yeah.
Even if it's the most chaotic routine you've ever seen, I understand. Like I love the balance of like I would never. Well, never say never, but I would not enjoy a 9 to 5 right now at this chapter in my life. I love that my job is all over the place and I'm traveling the world. I'm seeing different people. I'm literally in a different state every day. But when I look at my calendar, I have a routine of how I'm going to kind of taper out my week to accommodate the extensive travel. Yeah. Coming up, I don't have the extensive travel. So when I'm off the road, I don't have work. So when I'm at home, I'm working on house projects, coming in doing this podcast with you, making sure that I'm seeing everyone's children, making sure that I'm seeing all of my friends, making sure that I'm working out, buying the right foods, like all those boring things and establishing some sort of a routine. And I'm not going to have the travel to build that routine around. So it's kind of like, whew, there's a gap in my schedule. I should fill this. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that I want to start my own freaking business.
All right.
It's like a couple months in the holidays, like I could use some relaxation. I don't sleep much, all right? Entrepreneur, I'm going to invest in my sleeping. That's what I'm going to use your $1 million for.
All right,
how's that?
There we go. SamCat's going to start a sleeping
business. Do you think
business.
that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur?
No, I don't. I know that.
Oh.
I just didn't. I was just questioning if you did.
I have no interest in that.
I was having this conversation yesterday where Nashville is such an entrepreneur city. It's like people come here, start their own thing or try to make it and work for themselves. And it's got to be one of the biggest cities for doing that. So I was just curious if you've had any thoughts or had any ideas or something where you're like, I want to do that.
I have
saw a need for it.
I have an affinity to being number 2.
Okay.
I would love to be the vice president of someone. Like if I shared a vision with someone, whatever that may be. And that's the thing is that like, I don't have a specific goal. I don't have a specific dream. Like I want to be a gym owner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I enjoy the media and the traveling and I love country music and I love Nashville and I love all of those things, but I'm open to a lot. But if I linked up with someone who had a dream and they're just like, I need a right-hand man to help me with the logistics and the planning to make my dream come true, that's what I like. I don't know that I thrive in like, you know, like I thrive in helping other people because that sounds douchey, but like I really do like helping other people. I like not being the one in charge. I like being the one that's like helping the person in charge, make the decisions, being that confidant. It's just like, you know, we are in a tough space. What do you think I should do? That is something that would speak more to me, leaps and bounds more than being an entrepreneur myself.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Is that weird?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You're weird though.
Yeah, but I like that.
Yeah.
It's working well for me so far.
We think so. We like it. Well, everybody, stay weird out there. We appreciate you tuning in. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts on YouTube. We'll be back next week. Team on 3.